All right, so we're diving into music director interview prep today, and we've got some awesome RoleCatcher resources to help us out.
It's really interesting how these resources emphasize not just the musical skills, but also that deeper understanding of what the role really entails.
Yeah, it's not just about being a musical genius. You've got to be able to communicate your vision, handle those tricky personalities, and really lead a team.
Exactly. A music director wears many hats, and the interview process is all about showcasing that you've got the full package.
So let's jump right into it. RoleCatcher has these 9 sample interview questions. They're pure gold, and we're going to break each one down.
And I'll be adding in some real-world examples, maybe even some follow-up questions they might throw at you.
Perfect, love it.
Okay.
Question number 1. Tell us about your experience with music production and arrangement. Seems straightforward, but what are they really getting at here?
They're definitely looking for proof of your skills, but it's also about how well you grasp the entire production process.
So instead of just listing software, you're proficient in. Tell a story. Paint a picture of a project you took from start to finish.
Exactly. What were the challenges, the creative decisions, those aha moments along the way? They want to see you think critically about your experiences.
And authenticity is key here.
Yeah.
Don't exaggerate your experience. Let your genuine journey shine through.
Like a musical fingerprint, your path is unique, and that's what makes you stand out.
Okay, question 2. Can you describe your approach to selecting music for a particular event or project? This one feels all about being a curator, not just a jukebox.
You nailed it. It's about showcasing your thought process, how you tailor music to the audience, the setting, the overall vibe. They want to see those connections.
So things like the venue's acoustics,
Right.
the mood you're trying to create, even the client's preferences or the event's historical context all factor in.
Absolutely. And having a diverse musical vocabulary is super important here. They want to see you think outside the box and curate something truly unique.
Because no one wants a wedding march. That sounds like a funeral dirge.
Exactly. A strong answer might highlight a time you surprised a client with an unexpected choice that just worked perfectly. And be ready for follow-ups, like, how do you handle disagreements about music selections? Or how do you stay current with trends?
Those are good ones. It's not just about your taste. It's about understanding your audience and the purpose of the music. Okay, moving on to question 3. How do you typically work with artists and musicians to create a cohesive sound or performance? This feels like it's all about leadership.
Absolutely, but not the dictatorial kind. It's about inspiring and guiding a group of strong personalities while maintaining a unified vision.
So share a story about a time you brought a diverse group of musicians together and created something amazing. What was your communication style? How did you handle disagreements?
And don't shy away from challenges. Maybe there was a clash of egos, a technical hiccup, or a crazy deadline. How did you navigate those obstacles?
Right, because let's be real, orchestras aren't always harmonious.
They want to hear that balance between assertiveness and collaboration. You're the director, but you value everyone's input.
So it's more like, hey, let's explore some ideas and find the best way to bring this piece to life. And be prepared for follow-ups, like how do you give constructive feedback or describe a time you had to make a tough decision about a soloist or an arrangement.
Excellent points. They're looking for that balance of artistic vision diplomacy and clear communication. Now, question 4 dives into conflict. Can you describe a time when you had to deal with a difficult artist or musician? How did you handle this situation? This one can feel a bit tricky.
Yeah, you want to show you can handle those diva moments, but without throwing anyone under the bus.
Exactly. Choose a situation where you successfully navigated a challenge, but focus on the resolution, not the drama.
So what steps did you take to de-escalate? Did you actively listen? Find common ground? What was the positive outcome?
And remember, it's not about bad-mouthing the artist. Focus on the lessons you learned about conflict resolution and staying professional under pressure. A potential follow-up could be, how would you approach a similar situation differently now? Shows growth and self-awareness.
Great point. Okay, ready for a knowledge check. Question 5. Can you describe your experience with music theory and notation? Time to show off those theoretical chops.
This is where they assess your foundational knowledge, those musical building blocks. Be honest and specific.
If you have formal training, mention your degree certifications. If you're self-taught, highlight areas where you excel, like sight reading or a deep understanding of harmony.
Right, but no exaggerating. They might test your understanding with follow-ups, like explain the difference between major and minor scales or analyze the harmonic structure of this piece.
So it's about applying that knowledge, not just knowing terms. Okay, question 6 is all about staying relevant. How do you keep up with industry trends and new music releases? Got to show you're not stuck in the past.
Exactly. They want to see that you're curious, you seek out new sounds and influences.
So share your go-to resources. Music blogs, podcasts, publications, industry events, online platforms. What has shifted your perspective recently?
Don't just list them, explain why they're valuable. A great follow-up could be, how do you see technology shaping the future of music? Shows you're thinking ahead.
Because anyone can name drop a few websites. It's about showing that active engagement with how music is evolving. Okay, question 7 takes us back to decision making. Can you describe a time when you had to make a difficult decision regarding a performance or event? Seems like tough calls are part of the gig.
Absolutely. They want to understand how you weigh options, consider the impact on everyone involved, and ultimately how you arrive at a decision you can stand behind.
So choose an example that showcases your judgment. Maybe you had to cut a piece due to time constraints or resolve a conflict between musicians.
Walk them through your thought process. What factors did you consider? Who did you consult? Did you prioritize artistic integrity, audience experience, or budget? What was the outcome?
And don't be afraid to admit it was a tough decision. It shows you're not afraid of complex situations.
Be ready for potential follow-ups, like, looking back, would you handle it differently? Or how did you communicate the decision? Transparency and communication are key.
Great insights. All right, 2 more to go. Question 8 is all about grace under pressure. Can you describe a time when you had to work under pressure to meet a deadline? Deadlines are practically a musical genre.
Indeed. They want to see how you stay cool and collected when things get intense.
So think of a time you faced a tight turnaround or an unexpected challenge. Maybe you had to learn a complex score, quickly deal with a technical meltdown, or a sudden venue change.
Walk them through how you managed the pressure. Did you break down the task, delegate, effectively prioritize? How did you stay focused?
It's about showing you can handle those high-pressure moments without letting the music stop.
A possible follow-up. What strategies do you use to prevent feeling overwhelmed? Or how do you stay positive and motivate your team when things get stressful?
Okay, final movement of this interview symphony. Question 9 gets a bit technical. Can you describe your experience working with sound and lighting equipment? A music director doesn't need to be a sound engineer, but
a basic understanding shows you appreciate the full scope of the performance and can collaborate effectively with the technical team.
so be honest about your experience level. Have you taken courses, assisted with sound checks? Maybe you've even helped set up mics or adjust lighting.
Even if it's limited show, you're eager to learn. Maybe mention observing a sound engineer solve a problem and what you learn.
Because a good music director knows every aspect from the score to the spotlight contributes to the impact.
And be prepared for follow-ups, like, what are your thoughts on technology enhancing live performances? Or how do you ensure clear communication with the technical team? It shows you're a team player who understands that synergy.
Fantastic. We tackled all 9 questions, feeling prepped and ready to conduct this interview like a pro.
Absolutely. And remember, these are just a starting point. The RoleCatcher Interview Guide has a ton of resources for specific skills and those tricky behavioral questions. It's about being prepared for anything they throw at you.
So you've got the knowledge. Now it's time to fine-tune those answers and let your passion shine through. A music director is more than just a conductor. They're a leader, a collaborator, a visionary. And with the right prep, you can make beautiful music in that interview room. Now let's talk about something that can really take your prep to the next level. RoleCatcher's AI.
It's like having a personal coach in your corner who's laser focused on the specific music director role you're after.
And you know how the career guide emphasizes tailoring your CV for each application?
Well, RoleCatcher's AI takes that to a whole new level.
It actually digs into the job description, finds those keywords and skills they're looking for.
And then it suggests ways to highlight your experience so it really stands out.
Imagine you're applying for a role that's heavy on film scoring experience.
RoleCatcher's AI might suggest you bring up that student film project. You did even help you with the wording to make it shine.
It's like having a secret weapon to decode those sometimes confusing job postings.
And the best part is it doesn't stop there. The AI can even help you tailor your answers to those interview questions we just talked about.
It's like having a coach who's been spying on the hiring manager and knows exactly what they want to hear.
Right. Let's say a question focuses on leadership skills.
RoleCatcher's AI might suggest you weave in a story about how you handled a tough situation with a soloist, demonstrating your ability to give feedback while keeping the team positive.
It's not just about getting the job. It's about developing those essential skills that will help you throughout your career.
Speaking of career, let's circle back to the RoleCatcher Career Guide for a minute.
It's packed with insights on advancing in the music industry, even if you're just starting out.
I was really impressed with their advice on gaining hands-on experience.
They really emphasize community groups, volunteering. You don't need a Grammy to start building your conducting experience.
Those are such valuable stepping stones, especially for building your portfolio.
Speaking of portfolios, what are some things that really catch your eye when you're looking at one?
Oh, I'd love to hear this. Give us the inside scoop.
For me, it's all about seeing that artistic vision come through. I want to see a variety of projects that show their range, orchestral film scores, different ensembles.
So not just the final product, but maybe some behind-the-scenes stuff too. Sketches, notes, early recordings that show the evolution of a piece.
Yes, exactly. It shows they're not just going through the motions, they're thinking deeply about their craft, experimenting, constantly trying to refine their sound.
It's like getting a glimpse into their musical mind.
And this ties back to the AI in a really fascinating way.
Oh, how so?
Well, imagine getting personalized feedback from RoleCatcher's AI on your portfolio as you're building it.
It could analyze your work, suggest areas for improvement, and even highlight things that would resonate with certain employers.
It's like having a virtual mentor who's guiding you towards creating a portfolio that really wows people.
That's amazing. And the career guide itself is just full of these little nuggets of wisdom that make you rethink things.
One section I loved was the discussion on career paths. It doesn't just focus on becoming a conductor.
It explores other avenues like music production, composing for film and TV, even education or arts administration.
It's so empowering to know you're not locked into one path.
You could start as a conductor and then realize, hey, I'm really passionate about video game soundtracks.
And the guide gives practical tips for making those transitions, networking strategies, developing specific skills for each path.
It's like a roadmap that shows you all these exciting detours and scenic routes along the way.
And remember, this journey isn't a solo performance. The guide really emphasizes networking and connecting with people.
Because like they say, it's not just what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly. The guide encourages going to industry events, joining organizations, reaching out to local musicians, composers, producers.
It's about building real relationships.
You never know, a casual chat at a concert could turn into an amazing collaboration.
And that brings us back to the importance of those soft skills we talked about earlier. Communication, empathy, building rapport.
Those are crucial for everything: networking, leading a team, working with clients, navigating the whole music industry.
You could have the most brilliant musical mind, but if you can't communicate your ideas or inspire others, it won't matter.
And those soft skills can be learned. RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze your communication style.
And give you tips on how to project confidence, clarity, and authenticity.
It's like having a personal branding expert right there in your pocket.
It really is.
Yeah.
And this focus on continuous learning is something else that stood out to me in the career guide.
The music world is constantly changing. You can't just rest on your laurels.
So what are some ways aspiring music directors can stay ahead of the curve?
The guide recommends taking advanced courses, workshops, master classes, even participating in competitions or festivals.
It's about immersing yourself in new ideas, challenging your assumptions, constantly getting better.
And don't underestimate the value of finding a mentor, someone who's been there and can offer guidance and support.
Like having a seasoned guide to help you navigate the sometimes choppy waters of the music industry.
Speaking of navigating, let's talk about those curveball questions you sometimes get in interviews. The ones that seem to come out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, those can be a real curveball.
But remember, the interviewer isn't trying to trick you. It's about seeing how you think on your feet, handle pressure, and approach problems in real time.
So if you get hit with a question that throws you off, take a deep breath and gather your thoughts.
Don't be afraid to ask for clarification if you need to. It shows you're thoughtful.
And even if you don't have the perfect answer, talk through your thought process. What factors would you consider? What steps would you take?
It's about showing you can think critically and stay calm under pressure.
And sometimes those curveball questions are a way for them to see your personality.
They might ask about your favorite musical genre or a memorable concert experience.
Don't be afraid to let your personality shine through in those moments.
It's like adding a little improvisation to a carefully rehearsed performance.
Exactly. And speaking of preparation, I always encourage people to prepare some thoughtful questions of their own for the interviewer.
Oh, absolutely. Asking questions shows you're engaged, curious, and genuinely interested in the position.
It also lets you go beyond the scripted answers and get a feel for the company culture and the specific demands of the role.
Some good starting points are asking about the company's vision for the future, their commitment to artistic excellence, and opportunities for growth.
And don't be afraid to get specific about the role itself. What types of projects, the level of collaboration, what they expect for success.
It's also smart to ask about the team you'd be working with, their strengths, their working styles. You want to make sure it's a good fit.
Remember, asking questions isn't just about getting information. It's also about showcasing your own intelligence and thoughtfulness.
It's about showing that you're not just looking for a job. You're looking for a place where you can truly thrive and make a difference.
So well said. Now, as we wrap up this part of our deep dive, it's important to acknowledge that this whole process can feel overwhelming.
It's completely normal to feel intimidated, especially if it's your first big music director interview.
It's easy to get caught up comparing yourself to others in such a competitive field.
Comparison really is the thief of joy. Focus on your own craft, your unique voice, your passion.
And remember, the resources we've talked about today, the RoleCatcher Interview, Guide the Career, Guide the AI tools, they're all here to help you.
Use those sample questions. Practice answering them out loud, maybe even record yourself.
And don't be afraid to ask for feedback from mentors or friends in the industry.
Most importantly, go into that interview with confidence. You've put in the work, you have the skills, and you're passionate about music. Let that shine through.
It's like stepping onto the podium, ready to lead the orchestra. You've got this.
Absolutely. And remember, interviews are a two-way street. It's not just about them evaluating you. It's about you deciding if it's the right fit for you.
Ask those questions. Get a sense of the culture. Trust your gut.
And most importantly, enjoy the process. It can be nerve-wracking, but it's also a chance to talk about your passion, connect with people, and open doors to amazing opportunities.
So soak it all in, learn from each experience, and keep making beautiful music. We've covered a lot of ground on interview prep, but let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, the music industry as a whole.
It's a constantly evolving world, and to really make it, you've got to be adaptable, innovative, always looking ahead.
So for those aspiring music directors out there, what are some of the big things they should have on their radar?
One of the biggest shifts in recent years has been the rise of digital platforms and streaming services.
It's completely changed how music is made, shared, listened to.
It's opened up incredible opportunities for independent artists, but it also means it's harder than ever to stand out from the crowd.
So for someone hoping to be a music director, it's essential to understand how this digital world works.
How to use platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, Bandcamp to build a following and connect with fans.
So that might mean learning about social media marketing, understanding algorithms, creating engaging content, building a strong online presence.
And it also means understanding the financial side of things, royalties, licensing deals, how to make a living in this new digital landscape.
Right, because as a music director, you're not just an artist, you're also an entrepreneur. You need to know the business side of music to navigate this new world.
And this brings us to another important trend, the need for collaboration and cross-disciplinary skills.
It's rare to find success as a solo act these days. The most exciting projects often involve teams of people with different creative backgrounds.
So for aspiring music directors, it's crucial to have strong interpersonal skills, be open to collaboration, and willing to learn from others.
So that might mean working with filmmakers, visual artists, choreographers, game developers. The possibilities are really endless.
Exactly. And being able to clearly communicate your vision and bridge those creative gaps, that's where the real magic happens.
It's like taking the best instruments from different orchestras and creating a whole new sound, a symphony of collaboration.
I love that. And speaking of symphonies, let's not forget another challenge facing the music industry today, funding and resources.
It's no secret that arts funding is often the first to go. So how can aspiring music directors make it work?
It takes creativity, resourcefulness, thinking outside the box. The Career Guide actually has some great advice on things like grant writing, fundraising, crowdfunding.
It's about learning to be your own advocate
And
and presenting your vision in a way that gets people excited to support you.
it also means being open to different models of funding, partnerships, sponsorships, collaborations that can help you bring your projects to life.
Like composing a new score for the business side of music. Finding those harmonies that blend creativity with financial sustainability.
Exactly. And that entrepreneurial spirit, that's what will really help aspiring music directors stand out in this constantly evolving landscape.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of music directors, what's the key message you want our listeners to take away?
Embrace the challenges, the excitement, the constant evolution of music. Hone your skills, of course, but also stay curious. Keep that passion alive and never stop learning.
Because the world needs those passionate, innovative music directors who can not only lead an orchestra, but also navigate the complexities of this ever-changing industry.
So go out there, ace those interviews, but more importantly, never stop exploring. Never stop creating, never stop making beautiful music.
Well said.
Oh.
And remember, RoleCatcher is here to support you every step of the way with resources, insights, and that AI magic to help you fine-tune your skills and really shine in the dynamic world of music.
The future is yours to create. So pick up your baton, step onto that podium, and let the music begin.
That's it for our deep dive into music director interview prep and career insights. We hope you found it valuable and are ready to take on those interviews with confidence.
Remember, preparation is key, and the resources from RoleCatcher can give you that extra edge.
So go out there, make beautiful music, and let your passion shine through. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.